Oh, I love New York.
And why are you leaving? What's in it for you anyway?
Look, I know what you're thinking, and I don't blame you. I've always thrown out such a jazzy line.
Looks are deceiving, but you know, I got a third eye. Not saying there's always a good one, but maybe I might be wrong. I know I'm wrong sometimes, but I'm right more than I'm wrong.
Hello, man. Take one.
Take one. More than one take, will shoot.
You will forget all about the Express file. You have forgotten your name. You have forgotten your name.
Is this not why you were here?
What makes a good story is a good yarn. Frequently you can get mired and get stuck in your own sludge with getting too intellectual. I think if you can tell the story, what this film is about, in more or less 30 seconds or a minute, less than a minute, then you've probably got something, because everything else after that is enlargement. This film is about boom.
This brings me to Quantum Kleptomania, which, again, what you did in terms of the treatment that you handed me, because that looked like an accomplished sort of ad treatment, do you know what I mean? It was visually led, because it's going to be a visually led piece. I know you worked on sort of many, for some big levels in Black. Can I say you outside? Your stuff for me works on sort of many. The fact that you're filming right now has thrown me a little bit, but that's fine. The fact that you're filming right now has thrown me a little bit, but that's fine. We'll keep going. It's not my first rodeo, David. Because it works on so many different levels intellectually, trying to get an elevated pitch. What I don't want to do is force you into making an elevated pitch.
What you need to do is use your editing.
Name's
skills.
Dave.
Take an image. It's feeling one foot close to roller. Otherwise we're going to run out of time.
Sorry about that. I've worked in graphics, film design for 20-30 years. During lockdown, I kind of stopped doing anything creative, I should say. The workshops helped me by giving me some structure on my creative projects, really. Access to computers. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully going to start creating projects again. Don't know what to say.
Well, I found Greg's attitude very encouraging, very positive. I've enjoyed seeing what the others can bring to the table, what they have to say, their viewpoints. I've enjoyed seeing people's documentaries, seeing what they're doing. Makes me
Congratulations, Palmer. You've just killed an American agent.
You might want to ask people, David.
I already did.
You already asked the student?
Yes.
At least 3 strangers.
Yes. They're not strangers.
Did they ask you? Oh, okay, I'm confused.
Thank you. Apologies accepted.
In us to love documentary and make a documentary. So,
you know, what I really want to do is I'm really interested in how documentary storytellers like me are constantly using the raw materials of people like you who come here with experience that then becomes my property.
which is what Dave's doing right now. He's cheating. He ain't going out. He ain't going out, you know, he just films this. He's winning. And yeah, but then I think next year, when we've done this task, then we'll be doing something with a narrative, like maybe fiction, scripted, acted. So it's a completely different thing altogether. So yeah, so it's a 4-minute film. Some of the people didn't hear the teacher when he said, I want the film to be between 3 and 6 minutes. And they've come back with hours and hours of footage. And then they've got to kind of edit it down to 6 minutes.
All of those elements that you just explained to me will actually not need to be changed because you've just been recorded and you're going to be in the film. So that will explain everything. Yeah. That's perfect. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. That's perfect. Because now that is part of the whole thing. So when they come to look at it, the markers, it's going to be really difficult for them to find something wrong because all of the wrong things are discussed in the film itself. And you've just like the final thing, you're the final piece, the missing bit of the jigsaw. You've put it all together really perfectly. So that's it. So that will be in the film. So now I'm just going to chop it all down and edit it.
Yours so far, Dave?
So my one, I managed the first couple of rough cuts were 30 minutes. And then I managed to get it down to 8 minutes. And now it's come back up to, the latest cut is up to 16 minutes. But so this workshop, which is normally hosted by Greg from Ridley Scott Associates, his background was in making commercials, you know, like TV commercials for Adidas, etc., and pop videos. And the person he worked with, Ridley Scott, before becoming a famous film director for movies such as Blade Runner and Alien, he just made thousands of commercials. So
because my film school was commercials, and that's why I will never hear anything said against commercials, because I never did film school. It was everything to me. And one thing they don't teach you at film school is it's time against creativity. So the clock is always running. They don't teach.
Greg learnt his craft through the making of commercials. So there is actually a procedure whereby you initially write a treatment, which is a short synopsis of what your documentary is going to be about. And then you'll develop what they call an elevator pitch. So if you imagine if you got into the elevator with a big financier and you literally had a short space of time while you're in the elevator to explain what your story is about and hook that finance, that's called the elevator pitch. So it really makes you focus and narrow it down. And the elevator pitch literally should be a minute or so long. So my various people in this workshop have decided to do various documentaries. You've just heard one example of the 4-minute egg. One girl, Claire, has decided to do how tourism destroys the very artifacts they go to visit in ancient Egypt. And another young lady, Abna, is doing some research on her father and society in the 60s, West Indian and Irish society in London, 1960s. So my one, I originally wanted to do a docu-fictional idea whereby Greg, who comes to hold the workshop, has come from a very sinister corporation who make all the big advertising around the world, and they've just got a contract with Alphabet. They're the owners of Facebook, etc., to develop software for the metaverse. Now, they had the software, so the universe of things, so when you're walking along the street, a device will pick up you, know it's you, and advertise directly to you. So in order to do that, they needed lots of creative minds, and it would just cost so much money. So what they did, in the guise of film teachers, they would come into using quantum entanglement. They would download all the information, creative information from the students, they steal it. So it was called quantum kleptomania. Anyway, however, that proved very difficult to create in 6 minutes, as you can imagine. So I decided to make the film. I left that in my film, my idea of a film that you'll never see in a documentary. But the documentary is about the workshop itself. And now it's 16 minutes, I've got to get it down a bit. But so I've always done that with films.
And you're still filming.
And I'm still filming. Yeah. So you guys will probably be...
In his email, he said that he wanted everyone to talk a little bit about their treatments and their synopsis today. I'm not that familiar with what either of these things are.
Well, the synopsis is like the longer version of that first pitch, where you've got someone stuck in the lift for 1 minute before they get to their floor and get out. They've got that time. Now he's gone, great idea, now give me a synopsis. So you've got a little bit more time to go into more detail and sell it a bit more. And the treatment is pretty much how you're going to make this film. You're going to get everything into place, make it cost it, where you're going to film it, what you're going to film it with, how many people on the film crew, because it all, you know, the reality is it's all about money. How much is it's going to cost this man you kind of ambushed in the lift? And so that's what he wants to know, so that'd be the treatment. So you've caught him with the first pitch in the lift, you've sent him the synopsis, full-blown version of the film, and now he wants to know how much it's going to cost. How big is it?
You can make a good film on a mobile phone, but there's something they call a production value, which really every piece of equipment that you use, like if I make this film using this Apple iPhone, if I use like a really expensive movie camera, then I get better quality of images as I go through each step, better sound quality, so you end up with a better production value, which is determined by, you know, the maximum amount of people wanting to see your film. You know, if you have really bad sound quality or the camera's jumping all over the place, the audience will soon lose interest.
Watch the problem coming over the horizon, and if it's a problem, knock its head off before it gets near you. The first requirement of anybody to do this job is inordinate stamina, right? Or say, well, actually, I was right, but I went wrong right there. I think the key is to be your biggest critic. Televised beautifully, so I started the process of close communion with camera.
11, take one.
Take one. It won't be more than one take, will it? Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think I want out of this?
You like, because you're the storyteller, you know. What do you want? You want the stories.
You say that I'm the storyteller.
Yeah.
But really, you're the storyteller. You know, the cameras are on you.
Yeah.
We don't really like being filmed, mate. We don't really like being filmed. It's not really nice to film.
Okay, keep busy, guys. Keep busy. Ready, background. Playback and action. Keep busy.
Really, except for Doc and yourself, Jose's my first non-rat romance. Not that he's my idea of the absolute finito. He's too prim and cautious to be my absolute ideal. Now, if I could choose from anybody alive, I wouldn't pick Jose. Nero, maybe, or Albert Schweitzer. Or Leonard Bernstein. But I am mad about Jose. I honestly think I'd give up smoking if he asked me. Come on, darling, let's eat. It's getting late. I'm leaving tomorrow and I haven't even begun to pack.
The superfluous and the multi-layered element of your work that I've seen up to this point, I think is fantastic. And the fact that it goes off on tangents, I would hate to be in a position to say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, because that's a complete nonsense. You know, you've already made something which I thought was really accomplished. Okay, there's not necessarily huge production value running all the way through it, but you circumnavigate that by having proper intellectual content at the core of it. So it's almost like you get it's like the Blair Witch Project. You know, the Blair Witch Project hasn't got the best, this, that and the other, but the idea is so good and it's so scary.
Did they do it on a handheld?
You don't care. Yeah. They spent an awful lot of money making it look cheap. But it gets there because of the central idea. Do you know what I mean? And your stuff gets there completely because of the central idea. So I think it's a great exercise to always look at your work as just enough essential parts, whatever the work is, whatever you're doing at any given, you know, what's the essence of it? What do I need to achieve? How do I go about achieving it? So turning it into an elevated pitch, I think, is a brilliant exercise. But once you've turned it into the elevated pitch, don't by any means stop what you already do as a filmmaker in terms of going off on those tangents and giving yourself that freedom at any point to find new and different narrative strands within it. Because we're going to try and make this a 3 to 6 minute piece. Possibly re-examine the ambition of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Almost as if you were treating this as a precursor or like a sizzle reel for your next larger project. Because our intention would be, when we've gotten all of these films done, is to have a platform on which they live so that they become an advertisement both for your skills and for the course itself. Not that I want them to be uniform, of course we don't want